One question that I always get when DJing is, what are you listening to in the headphones? This is usually by somebody that's interested in DJing but just don't know how to ask the right questions. I typically tell them I'm listening to what I'm queuing up or I'm listening to the next song. I find that queuing tracks on different controllers or different mixers are not the same at all. Let's talk about it on today's Cheat Code. Welcome back to another episode of Cheat Code. Today we're going to talk a little bit about queuing and how different it is to queue on some controllers and some mixers. To me, I have a preference. I've DJed on many types of gears. I'll show you different gears and the different ways of queuing, but I just got a problem with one of them, right? One way is best for me. I find it more comfortable to use it that way. The other way is a mess. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so let's jump right in, right? So this is my DDJ SX2 by Pioneer. It's a 4-channel mixer. As you can see, it has the 4 channels. What we're looking at here today is the Q, right? So the Q knob as well as queuing up buttons, right? For all channels, right? So this is my preference, right? If I want to select a line to queue, right, I would just simply tap that line. You know, if I wanted to queue up channel 1, tap the channel. I can have the master queue on, and I can adjust how much do I want to hear in the headphones. If I want to hear all the cue in my headphones and nothing else, a little bit of the master or what's being played, half master and half cue, right, in the headphones, or all master. I have that ability, and I like to be able to do this. When I started DJing, I DJ'd when I was young, so I had to DJ in my house with my parents, and they didn't like my music too loud. So I learned how to mix all in the headphones. So sometimes I put it on more master, sometimes I put it on more cue. I'm adjusting this, right? I learned to adjust this just a lot. So I'm used to that, but being able to jump into different cues when that happens is helpful, right? By the press of a button. Plus, DJing is a 2-hand sport, right? You got to use, or you can use both hands. I mean, it's easy just to click and move over. But if I want to do something real quick, 2 hands is all it takes, right? But this is my preference, is to have separate buttons for each channel to queue up and a knob to increase how much master I can hear or how much cue I can hear or how much blend of the two I can hear. That's it. That's all I need, right? Just give me buttons and a knob, right? That's the DDJ SX2. There's some other mixers that I've had. I actually went back, kind of call it my museum, went back in my museum and looked at my other 2 mixers. And both of those mixers have buttons and 1 knob to adjust. So I understand why my preference is this, because simply that's what I'm used to, right? Click a button, adjust the cue. Okay, so I'll give you both kind of split view of what's going on here. So I have my DDJ SX2 on a stand, sitting above. There's some space under here. My DDJ or my DJM S5 mixer with my turntables. Sometimes I like to mix on the controller. I can do that on the stand, and right below that I still have my turntable set up. So that's what you see here. You see part of the SX2, but right now let's reference this DJM S5. So the S5 is a scratch mixer, and I think I just realized why it's set up differently, right? So this is the cue adjust. This is the area where you adjust your cue, right? How much level you want your headphones is here, right? That cue mix master, so that gives you whether you want to hear more cue, you want to hear a mix, you want to hear the master only, same way as I had it on the DJ SX2. But there's no buttons on the DJ MS5 to select the channel. The buttons is actually a crossfader. So if I wanted channel 1, the crossfader goes far left. If I want channel 2, the channel goes far right, or the fader goes far right. What's crazy is, if this is the mix, right, and I can adjust how much master and how much cue, this slider will give you both channels at the same time if you wanted it. If that channel's in the middle or the fader's in the middle, it'll give you channel 1 and 2 as far as the cue, which is crazy because usually 1 is the master. That I don't like this because it's so confusing to me. It's difficult because it's not a switch. If it was a pedal or a switch where you're just switching left to right, it would make sense. But to do 2 versions of mixes, right? 2 blends of mixes, it just doesn't work for me. Now, I do understand that on most 2-channel mixers, there is no button, right? There's no button to choose a channel. They said, hey, we'll give you a crossfader, but I just don't like the blending of the 2. Why do that in my headphones? Now I'm confused, right? So I can use this, right? It's just a quick switch over, but it has a gate where it can stop in the middle, which again is a bit confusing because you don't know which cue you're on, whatever. But that is what I'm talking about. You may get on another piece of equipment and there's no cue button. You're looking for the cue button. There is no cue button. The cue button is this fader that you push left and right for channel 1, you push to the right for channel 2, you keep it in the middle for both channels, and it doesn't matter. You can be going cue, you'll get both channels. You can go master, you'll get both channels. This is, to me, if somebody can tell me what's the significance of this way of mixing it. I've seen this on other gear. I don't like it. I don't like it. I can use it, but it just doesn't work for me. So those are the 2 types of cueing mechanisms in these controllers and mixers. So if you think cueing is the same across the board, it is definitely not. You have knobs and faders, and on the DDJ SX2, let me see if I can prop this up like that. You got buttons and knobs, right? Give me the buttons and knobs any day over the knobs and faders, right? I like the button, like to adjust. Button, adjust, right? None of that fader business. Look, I'm not suggesting that you don't know how to cue up tracks. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just simply trying to make a point for those that may be visiting a venue that has equipment already, or maybe somebody asks you to jump on while they go to the restroom. Look, there's a difference in cueing in some of these controllers and mixers, and those are the 2 biggest that I've found. If you found any big differences, let us know in the comments if there's any other type of way to cue that these controllers and mixers are using. Also, what's your preference? Do you like knobs and buttons, or do you like knobs and faders, right? Thank y'all for watching today's cheat code. Yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous, Marvelous DJs. Hey, as always, stay marvelous. Cheat code.